Hello, everyone, and welcome to English Pod. My name is Marco.
My name is Catherine, and today we're talking all about cars in this intermediate level lesson.
That's right. We have a little bit of problems with our car, and we're going to talk about some possible solutions to these car problems we have. So why don't we just listen to the dialogue today? We have no words on vocabulary preview, so let's jump right into the dialogue and listen for the first time.
Car Trouble Center, how may I help you?
My car won't start. Stupid old car.
Hold on. Before you kick your car, let's go through some possible problems.
Fine.
Okay, first of all, can you turn the key in the ignition?
Yeah, I'm here with my friend, and he thinks it may be the spark plug or the starter motor.
Those are possible problems, but tell me, when you turn the key, do you hear the starter motor crank?
Yeah, it sounds like it usually does when I start the car, but nothing else happens. The engine won't start. Should I maybe press the accelerator?
No. If you step on the accelerator pedal, you can flood the carburetor and your car will never start.
So what do you think it is?
I know this may seem like a silly question, but does your car have gasoline?
Yeah. Right. I got the car started. Thanks for your help. I told you to fill the tank.
Okay, so this dialogue reminds me a lot of a radio show in America called Car Talk. And the hosts of the show, like Marco and I today, they talk about how to solve problems, and they ask you questions to find out what the problem is. So it's a really helpful show, but let's take a look at some of the phrases and words that you heard so we can understand what exactly is going on here.
Language takeaway.
All right, so today on Language Takeaway, we have 5 words, and they're all very specific to the car. So why don't we start with the first word? It's a noun, and we are talking about the ignition.
Ignition. The ignition is the first step to... The ignition is a part of the first step to starting a car. Basically, under the wheel of the car, the steering wheel, there's usually a silver hole where you can put the key in. This is the ignition. It starts the car.
Exactly. So you put the key in the ignition and you can start the car. And to start the car means to turn it on, to get it going.
That's right. And so ignition is the first step, starting the ignition.
Okay, so moving on to our next word, we have a word that's formed by 2 different parts. A spark plug. A spark plug.
Spark plug. So a spark plug is an electrical object. Basically, this has to do with electricity and the way that the car gets energy.
So it's called a spark plug because it creates a spark, which is a brief burst of current. So this basically creates a small spark of electricity, and this makes the gasoline ignite, so that's what makes the car go.
Right, so energy is taken from the battery to start a small fire, basically, so which then starts the engine. Spark plug, it's a very small but very important part of a car.
Very good. And moving on, we have the starter motor.
Okay, to be very honest with you, I'm not a car person, so I'm not sure what the starter motor is. Maybe you can explain this to us, Marco.
Okay, so basically your car runs on gasoline, right? So you put your key into the ignition and you turn it, right? This in turn sends energy to this little motor called a starter motor. And that basically gets the car going by means of an electrical current before the gasoline ignites. So it's like a little electrical motor that makes the spark plug ignite and causes some of the mechanical parts like the pistons move within the car, and then it turns on.
Okay, so again, this is all about the beginning of when we turn the key in the ignition, what happens. This is a starter motor. So once we've turned the car on, we've turn the key in the ignition, we have to worry about giving the car gas. So we can control gas with the accelerator pedal.
So by saying you want to give the car gas is you want to give it more energy, more power, or less energy, right?
Right. So if I want to go very fast, I push my foot down on the accelerator, and the further down it goes, the faster I move.
Exactly. So that's the accelerator. Now, the opposite of making the car go would make the car stop, and those are called
Brakes.
brakes.
So
Okay.
on the left, we have a brake pedal, and on the right, we have an accelerator pedal.
Very good. Okay, and talking about acceleration and gas, we have a very specific mechanical object, and that's called a carburetor.
Okay, again, carburetor. I know that this is under the hood of my car, but I'm not sure what it does. Let's talk about this.
All right, so it's not very common to have a carburetor anymore in new cars, but basically it's a small device that controls the flow of gasoline from the gas tank to the engine, and basically what it does, it makes the gasoline into a type of very thin mist, and that's what that way the gasoline can ignite easier. So the further down you push your foot on the accelerator, the wider the little gap or the hole will open on the carburetor, and that way your car will go faster.
All right, very good. So that's all we've got for language takeaway today, but don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a second with Fluency Builder.
Car Trouble Center, how may I help you?
My car won't start. Stupid old car.
Hold on. Before you kick your car, let's go through some possible problems.
Fine.
Okay, first of all, can you turn the key in the ignition?
Yeah, I'm here with my friend, and he thinks it may be the spark plug or the starter motor.
Those are possible problems, but tell me, when you turn the key, do you hear the starter motor crank?
Yeah, it sounds like it usually does when I start the car, but nothing else happens. The engine won't start. Should I maybe press the accelerator?
No. If you step on the accelerator pedal, you can flood the carburetor and your car will never start.
So what do you think it is?
I know this may seem like a silly question, but does your car have gasoline?
Yeah. Right. I got the car started. Thanks for your help. I told you to fill the tank.
All right, we're back. So now why don't we take a look at 4 key phrases that we have for you on Fluency Builder.
Fluency Builder.
Okay, this first phrase. So you heard the phrase at the beginning, Car Trouble Center. But Car Trouble Center, that's maybe the name of a fake company that we use. But the phrase car trouble is very, very common.
So if you say, I'm having car trouble or I had some car trouble, what does that mean?
That means my car broke.
Okay. So
But you don't say my car broke. This is one thing that can't break, because normally you say I'm having trouble or I'm having car trouble because a part of my car is not working.
Okay. So instead of saying I'm having problems with my car or my car broke, you just say I had car trouble or I'm having car trouble.
That's right. So this is a really good excuse for coming to work late. You can say, oh, I'm so sorry. I was having car trouble this morning.
Right. So any type of problems with your car can be considered car trouble. Flat tire, no battery, etc.
Etc. Yes.
Okay. Now moving on, we have a very interesting verb here. We heard when the guy was talking about the starter motor, he said, do you hear the starter motor crank?
Okay, to crank. So this is a very interesting verb. It can also be a noun. It's a sound. Okay, but it's also a movement. So when something turns around in a circle, thunk, 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 maybe you think of a metal wheel, thunk, thunk, that's a crank. So sometimes we talk about those old cars, 1910s, 1920s, the first Ford cars. You had to crank them in the front. You had to actually turn with your hand a wheel to make the car start.
Right.
So this is a crank.
Exactly. You can hear this in your car. Maybe if your car doesn't have gasoline, you hear the tick, 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 tick. That's the starter motor cranking.
So it's going around in circles, trying to create energy.
Exactly. And now when the guy was talking about the accelerator and he was talking about the carburetor, he said, no, don't step on that pedal because you can flood the carburetor. So to flood.
Okay. To flood. This is a verb. Maybe you've heard the word flood before as a noun, but this means to fill something with liquid, with gasoline, with water, with milk. So to flood something is to fill it up with a liquid.
Okay, very good. So you can flood a dam, for example, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Or in this case, you can flood a carburetor, which means it won't work because it's all wet.
Okay, very good. And the last phrase that we have very handy when you're talking about cars is to fill the tank.
Okay, this is always a problem at my house because I hate to fill the tank.
Really?
And so, yeah, whenever my car's in the driveway and someone in my family asks if they can borrow it, I say, yeah, sure. And then obviously an hour later they come back and say, why don't you ever fill the tank? It's empty. You have no gas. And I say, well, I hate to fill the car with gas. And so I always have an empty tank. So I never fill the tank.
Okay, so that's what it means. To fill the tank is to have it full of gasoline.
Right, to put gasoline into your gasoline tank.
Okay, very good. Why don't we go back and listen to the dialogue for the last time, and we'll be back to talk a little bit more.
Car Trouble Center, how may I help you?
My car won't start. Stupid old car.
Hold on. Before you kick your car, let's go through some possible problems.
Fine.
Okay, first of all, can you turn the key in the ignition?
Yeah, I'm here with my friend, and he thinks it may be the spark plug or the starter motor.
Those are possible problems, but tell me, when you turn the key, do you hear the starter motor crank?
Yeah, it sounds like it usually does when I start the car, but nothing else happens. The engine won't start. Should I maybe press the accelerator?
No. If you step on the accelerator pedal, you can flood the carburetor and your car will never start.
So what do you think it is?
I know this may seem like a silly question, but does your car have gasoline?
Yeah. Right. I got the car started. Thanks for your help. I told you to fill the tank.
All right, we're back. So, talking about cars and car trouble, I understand, for example, in some countries, when you're getting a driver's license, you're forced or obliged to learn a little bit of car mechanics. You have to learn about the engine or how to change a tire and basic things like this.
That's a brilliant idea. In America, you don't have to know how to fix your car. Mm-hmm. You have to know how to pay someone to fix your car. But basically, we only learn the rules of the road. So the signs and the basic rules.
Really?
Yeah, but I think it would be very helpful to know how to fix a tire or how to change the oil in your car. I mean, is this a requirement in Ecuador?
Yeah. When
Really?
you're getting your driver's permit, your driver's license, you have to take a course which shows you the mechanics of the car, first aid course, and also basic road rules and all that stuff. But basically, because it can be something very simple, like for example, they show you where the battery is, where you can check the oil, and basic things like this. So maybe the little cable from the battery just came loose, and that's why your car won't start.
Yeah.
So instead of you waiting for 2 hours until somebody comes and picks you up, or a tow truck, you can just check very briefly basic things that can maybe go wrong in your car, and you can just go on your way.
That's awesome. I
Yeah.
had my dad for that.
You would
My
call
dad
your
said, I'm not going to have a little girl who doesn't know how to change a tire or who doesn't know how to check the oil levels. So, yeah, but not everybody has a parent who will teach them.
Right. No, and it's very handy because, for example, you get a flat tire. And sometimes, cars can be a little bit tricky. The wheel nuts are sometimes covered by a plastic cover, so
Yeah.
you don't know how to take it off. There's a special tool for that. Or the jack. Sometimes the jack is not the normal one that you have to like pump up
Yeah.
and down. It's a little one that you have to turn a lever and you have to do this. So it's very, very useful to know these things.
Absolutely. I'm curious to know if our listeners out there have experience with cars and car mechanics. And if you have this rule, like Marco says they have in Ecuador, about learning about cars before you actually get your driver's license.
Yeah.
Let us know on our website, englishpod.com. We hope to see you there.
All right, guys.
Bye.
Bye. The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
Look at something in a careful way. Go through. A device to start up the car. Ignition. Electrical device that ignites the gas by electric. Spark plug. An electric motor for starting an engine. Starter motor. To start an engine, motor, etc. Crank. The device which helps cars get running. Engine. A pedal that controls the throttle valve. Accelerator. Mixes air with gasoline vapor prior to explosion. Carburetor.
Let's try that faster.
An electric motor for starting an engine. Starter motor. A pedal that controls the throttle valve. Accelerator. Look at something in a careful way. Go through. A device to start up the car. Ignition. To start an engine, motor, etc. Crank. Electrical device that ignites the gas by electric. Spark plug. The device which helps cars get running. Engine. Mixes air with gasoline vapor prior to explosion. Carburetor.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Ignition. He turned the key in the ignition and the truck roared to life. Ignition. His new car has a keyless ignition system. Ignition. I put the keys into the boat's ignition switch and turned it on. Spark plug. The mechanic took a look at my car and said that the spark plug needed to be replaced. Spark plug. Tens of thousands of volts travel down the spark plug to ignite the fuel. Spark plug. I checked everything, including the spark plug, and there doesn't seem to be anything wrong with your car. Starter motor. The motor turned the crank, which started the machine. Starter motor. The starter motor in my car is defective. Starter motor. I ripped the cord on the boat's motor and started to travel across the lake. Crank. In the olden days, people had to manually crank the engine for the car to start. Crank. Nowadays, a motor cranks the engine in order to start the car. Crank. This time, the starter motor finally cranked when I turned the key. Engine. Can you start the engine about 5 minutes before we're supposed to leave? Engine. The engine sputtered and then it died. Engine. I can hear my engine straining in its old age.
My name is Myra, and I am your host today. If you are new here, I want to let you know that on this channel, we upload daily episodes to help you improve your English skills. Our focus is on listening, speaking, and building natural confidence in English. So, if you want to practice every day and take your English to the next level, you are in the right place. Today's episode is titled Advanced English Practice. Speak naturally and confidently. Learn English with podcast. Now, let me take you into a small story. Imagine a man named Daniel. Daniel works in an international company where he often needs to present his ideas in front of colleagues from different countries. At first, he struggled because even though he knew advanced vocabulary, he did not sound natural and confident. He would speak too quickly and his sentences did not flow smoothly. One day, his manager suggested that he try speaking in shorter sentences, pausing slightly and focusing on clarity instead of speed. Within a few weeks, Daniel's presentations completely changed. People started to say that his English sounded powerful and persuasive. Why am I telling you this story? Because many advanced learners think that confidence comes from using very complex words. In reality, confidence comes from clear communication and natural flow. For example, if Daniel wanted to explain a project, instead of saying, "The implementation of the newly proposed strategy will significantly contribute to the organizational advancement," he learned to say, "Our new strategy will help the company grow faster." Both sentences are correct, but the second one is more natural and easy to understand. Here is something you can try. Think about a topic you know well, maybe your work, your city, or even your daily routine. First, try to explain it in very complicated English, and then explain it again using simple, natural sentences. Notice how much easier the second version sounds. This practice will help you balance advanced vocabulary with natural speech. Let me share another example with you. A woman named Sophia moved to Canada from Italy. She had studied English for many years and could write perfectly. But in conversations, she often hesitated. One day, she was invited to a community event where she had to introduce herself. Instead of overthinking, she remembered a tip her English coach gave her. Speak as if you are telling a story to a friend. So she said, "Hi, my name is Sophia. I grew up in a small town in Italy, where my family ran a bakery. Now I live here in Canada and I work as a teacher. I really enjoy exploring new places and learning about different cultures." Her introduction was simple, natural, and confident. People immediately felt connected to her. This is the secret. Natural speaking is not about perfection. It is about connection. Advanced learners sometimes focus too much on avoiding mistakes, but communication is more important than perfection. Now let's try a small practice together. I will give you a sentence in formal, advanced English, and then I will simplify it into natural English. First sentence. Due to unforeseen circumstances, I was unable to attend the scheduled meeting yesterday. Now, the natural version. I could not join the meeting yesterday because something unexpected happened. Do you feel the difference? The first one is correct, but the second one is clear and confident. Another one. I sincerely appreciate your timely assistance in resolving the issue that arose last week. Natural version. Thank you for helping me fix the problem last week. I really appreciate it. Again, natural English feels warmer, easier, and still advanced because it is effective. Think about your own life. For example, when you talk to your manager, your wife, your husband, or your friends, the goal is to be understood and to connect. Using natural English makes you sound confident without sounding artificial. Now, I want to tell you about a short story of a man named Kareem. He always wanted to give speeches at his workplace. At first, he wrote his speeches word for word, but when he read them, he sounded robotic. Later, he tried another method. He wrote just key points and then spoke naturally around them. The result was amazing. People said he sounded more human, more inspiring, and much more confident. This shows that when you relax and let your English flow naturally, you gain real confidence. Imagine two colleagues, Anna and Michael, who work together in a technology company. Anna has been in the company for years, and she speaks English fluently. Michael recently joined, and even though his English is strong, he still feels nervous in meetings. One day, they had to present a new project to their director. Michael had prepared many pages of notes, full of advanced vocabulary. But when it was time to speak, he kept looking down at his notes and lost the natural flow. After the meeting, Anna gave him some advice. She said, "Michael, don't try to remember every single sentence. Just remember the main ideas and speak like you are explaining it to a friend." The next week, Michael tried Anna's advice. Instead of reading everything, he explained the project in his own words. He said things like, "This project will make our system faster. It will save time for our customers and make their experience smoother." His director immediately understood and appreciated his clarity. Michael realized that advanced English does not mean complicated. It means effective and natural. Now let us do a short role play. Imagine you are in Michael's place. Your task is to explain a project, but you can only use short, clear sentences. For example, we are launching a new website. It is easier to use and faster to load. Customers will enjoy the new design, and it will help us attract more visitors. Do you see how simple and confident that sounds? Let's move to another story. There was a woman named Aisha who lived in Dubai. She was very skilled at her job, but when clients visited, she always felt nervous about speaking English. She wanted to sound perfect, and that pressure made her hesitate. One day, her husband told her, "Confidence comes from how you think about yourself, not only from your English level." So, she changed her approach. Before meetings, she reminded herself, "I know my job. I know my topic. English is only the tool." With this mindset, her English became smoother. Clients noticed her confidence, and she became one of the most trusted people in the company. This teaches us something very important. Your mindset is as important as your vocabulary. If you believe in yourself, your English will sound more natural. Now, let's practice listening to 2 different versions of a short introduction. Version 1. It is with great pleasure that I am afforded the opportunity to engage in a dialogue with all of you this morning. I anticipate a highly productive exchange. Version 2. I'm glad to be here with you today. I'm looking forward to our discussion. Both versions are advanced, but the second one sounds more confident, more natural, and easier to connect with. Here's a tip for you. When you prepare for any situation, whether it is a meeting, a presentation, or even a family gathering, write down 2 versions of what you want to say. First, write the formal and complex version. Then, rewrite it in simple, natural English. Compare them and practice the second one. Another character for you, David, who lives in London, works as a lawyer. In court, he uses very formal English because that is required. But in his personal life, with his wife, children, and neighbors, he switches to natural, simple English. This shows the flexibility of advanced learners. They know how to adapt their language to different situations. And here is a small exercise for you. Think of one topic, like your favorite place in your city. First, describe it formally. The Central Park in my city serves as a significant recreational facility, providing both aesthetic and environmental benefits to its visitors. Now, make it natural. There's a big park in the center of my city. It's beautiful, and people go there to relax and enjoy nature. Both are correct, but the second one helps you connect better with people. Perfect. Let's go even deeper into this practice together. I will expand with stories, roleplay, and exercises that push your English listening to a C1 level, while still keeping the language natural and accessible. Let us begin with a story about a man named Thomas. Thomas is an engineer from Spain, and he moved to Singapore for work. At first, he thought that to impress his colleagues, he needed to use very sophisticated and formal English. In meetings, he would say things like, "The execution of the strategy requires meticulous attention to multifaceted technical components." Even though his English was grammatically correct, many colleagues found it difficult to follow his ideas. One day, his team leader told him gently, "Thomas, your English is strong, but sometimes the simplest way is the most powerful." After that, Thomas tried a different approach. Instead of long and heavy sentences, he said, "We need to be careful with the technical details of this strategy." Suddenly, his colleagues understood him immediately. His confidence grew because people finally listened and responded to his points. This shows us that confidence is not about showing off difficult words. Confidence comes from clarity. Many advanced learners feel pressure to sound academic all the time. But in reality, advanced English is about adapting your style to the situation. For example, if you are writing a research paper, formal language is necessary. But if you are explaining something in a meeting, natural English works better. Here's a little role-play exercise for you. Imagine you are at work and your manager asks you, "How is the project going?" You could answer in 2 ways. Formal version. The implementation is proceeding according to schedule, with minor adjustments being managed efficiently by the team. Natural version. The project is going well. We're on schedule and the team is handling small changes smoothly. Both versions are correct. But which one do you think makes you sound more confident and easy to follow? For everyday situations, the natural version is often more effective. Now let me share another story. Fatima is a doctor in Qatar. She speaks excellent English, but when she attended international conferences, she used to prepare her speeches word by word. She memorized everything. The problem was, when she forgot even a single word, she would pause and panic. That made her sound less confident. One day she tried a new method. She wrote only short notes, just the key points, and then spoke around them naturally. She told stories about her patients, her hospital, and her experiences. People loved her presentation because it sounded human and authentic. After that, Fatima realized that natural communication is more powerful than memorized scripts. Here is something you can try at home. Take a topic you know well, like cooking, travel, or your job. Write only 3 or 4 short points and then try to speak about them for 2 minutes. Do not write full sentences, just keywords. This will train your brain to speak naturally and confidently without depending on memorization. Now let's practice with another comparison. Imagine you are writing an email to a colleague. Formal version. I would like to extend my deepest gratitude for your invaluable contribution to the successful completion of the recent project. Natural version. Thank you so much for your help with the project. Your support made a big difference. Both sentences express the same meaning, but the natural version feels warmer and easier to understand. When you choose natural language, people feel more connected to you. Another example, Samuel, an accountant in Nigeria, had excellent grammar but often spoke too quickly. He thought speaking fast made him sound professional. In reality, people asked him to repeat himself again and again. One day during a meeting, his wife, who also worked in the same office, told him afterward, "Slow down. People understand you better when you pause." Samuel practiced speaking slowly, pausing between ideas. The next time, his colleague said, "You sounded calm and confident." That is another secret of natural speech, slowing down. Let us do a small listening practice. Repeat these sentences in your mind after hearing them. Notice the pauses. I enjoy working with my team. Pause. Together we solve problems. Pause. Every day we learn something new. Did you feel how the pauses make the message clearer and more confident? Try this exercise with your own sentences. Now let's move to storytelling again. A man named Omar from Egypt wanted to improve his English because he was going to marry a woman from another country. He wanted to communicate well with her family. At first, he was nervous because he thought they expected him to be perfect. But when he met them, he discovered that they were more impressed by his effort to speak naturally than by his grammar. He said simple things like, "I am very happy to meet you. I am excited to be part of your family." Those honest and natural sentences made his relationship strong. This shows us that natural communication builds trust. Here is another interactive activity for you. I will give you a formal sentence, and you change it into a natural version in your mind. Formal. It is imperative that we adhere strictly to the guidelines established by the committee. Natural. We need to follow the committee's rules. Carefully. Formal. The conclusion, derived from the study, suggests a substantial improvement in efficiency. Natural. The study shows big improvements in efficiency. This exercise will help you simplify your English, while still sounding advanced. Let's bring another. Character Maria, a teacher in Brazil. She was invited to give a speech at her son's school. She wrote a very formal introduction, but when she practiced at home, her husband told her, "It sounds too heavy. Just talk to them like parents, not like students." She changed her speech into simple, warm language. She said, "As parents, we all want the best for our children. I am happy to be here with you today." The audience clapped because her words felt real and natural. This brings us to another important point. Natural English creates emotional connection. When you talk with your wife, your husband, your colleagues, or even strangers, people remember how you made them feel. Using natural, confident English makes your listener feel comfortable. Here's another practice. Think of how you introduce yourself. Formal. My designation within the organization is Senior Financial Analyst, and I have been engaged in this professional capacity for over a decade. Natural. I work as a Senior Financial Analyst, and I've been doing this job for more than 10 years. The difference is small, but the natural version helps you sound approachable. Now, let us imagine a dialogue between two colleagues. Anna. I am concerned that the presentation may not convey the necessary data with sufficient clarity. James. I think the slides are a bit complicated. Maybe we should make them simpler so people understand better. Both sentences mean the same thing, but James's version is easier to follow. This is the kind of English that makes people listen to you with interest. Another story. A man named Abdul Rahman was chosen to represent his company at an international exhibition. He was excited but also afraid because he thought his English was not advanced enough. When he started speaking, he noticed that many other representatives also spoke in simple English. They focused on explaining their products clearly instead of using difficult words. Abdul Rahman realized that clarity is the real sign of confidence. He spoke naturally, and his company gained many new clients. Here is a small challenge for you. Tomorrow, when you speak English with someone, focus on 3 things: clarity, pauses, and connection. Do not worry about being perfect. Just be natural. Let us add another comparison for practice. Formal. The seminar was extremely enlightening, providing me with substantial insights into the subject matter. Natural. The seminar was very useful. I learned a lot about the topic. Formal. I would greatly appreciate it if you could expedite the delivery of the requested documents. Natural. Could you please send the documents quickly? I would really appreciate it. Formal. Her unwavering dedication to the organization is highly commendable. Natural. She works really hard for the company, and it's impressive. Now think about your own life. Where can you replace complicated English with natural English? Maybe in emails, maybe in meetings, or maybe when introducing yourself. I want to leave you with one last story for now. There was a man named Richard in Kenya who dreamed of becoming a motivational speaker. At first, he copied famous speakers and used very formal, dramatic language. But people did not feel connected. Then he changed his approach. He started telling personal stories in simple English. He talked about his struggles, his family, his daily life. Suddenly, people were inspired because they could relate to him. Richard learned that real confidence is not about big words, but about honest, clear communication. Let us start with a man named Hassan from Morocco. Hassan worked as a project manager, and part of his job was to meet international clients. At first, he believed that to sound professional, he needed to use extremely complex vocabulary. During meetings, he would say things like, "Our operational framework necessitates the integration of multifarious components to achieve optimal functionality." His clients often looked confused. One of them even asked him politely, "Could you explain that in a simpler way?" Hassan felt embarrassed. Later, he reflected on the situation and realized that the goal of communication is understanding, not showing off. The next time he said, "Our system combines many parts so it can work better." The clients immediately smiled and nodded. Hassan understood that being clear is more impressive than being complicated. This reminds us of a valuable lesson. Advanced English is not about speaking in a way that no one understands. It is about choosing the right words for the right situation. When you adapt your style, people respect you more because you connect with them. Now, let's practice with a role play. Imagine you are Hassan. Your client asks, "How will this system help us?" You could answer in 2 ways. Complicated version: the integration of innovative methodologies will significantly enhance operational efficiency. Natural version: this system will make your work faster and easier. The second version is stronger because it is simple and confident. Let me share another example. Emma, a nurse from Germany, had to explain medical instructions to patients who spoke different languages. She noticed that when she used advanced terms like administer the prescribed dosage on a bi-daily basis, patients often became confused. So she changed her language and said, "Take this medicine 2 times every day." The result was much better. Patients understood clearly, and they trusted her more. From this, we learn that confidence is not only about how we feel inside, but also about how others receive our message. If people understand us easily, our confidence grows naturally. Here's another exercise for you. Listen carefully and notice the difference in tone. Formal. The objective of this initiative is to facilitate cross-cultural collaboration and foster mutual understanding among participants. Natural. This program helps people from different cultures work together and understand each other better. Both sentences are correct, but the second one feels more direct and approachable. As an advanced learner, your goal is to recognize when to use each style. Now, let me introduce another character, Carlos from Mexico. Carlos dreamed of becoming a teacher. He was very good at writing academic essays, but when he started teaching English to children, he quickly realized something important. The children did not care about long, formal explanations. They needed short, simple sentences. Carlos adjusted his style. Instead of saying, The grammatical structure requires subject-verb agreement for proper syntactical coherence, he said. The subject and verb must match. The children learned quickly, and Carlos became a successful teacher. This teaches us flexibility. Advanced speakers know how to switch styles depending on who they are talking to. Let's do another role play. Imagine you are Carlos, teaching a group of children. Try saying this in 2 ways. Complicated. The orthographic representation of this lexical item requires the inclusion of a silent consonant, natural. This word has a silent letter in it. The natural version is easier to remember and much more effective for teaching. Another story comes from Layla in Turkey. She worked in tourism and had to guide visitors from different countries. At first, she memorized a long script full of difficult words. But when she delivered it, the tourists looked bored and disconnected. Then she tried speaking more like a storyteller. She said things like, "This street is very old. Families here have lived for hundreds of years. People say the best bread in the city is made right here." Suddenly, the tourists became interested, asked questions, and laughed with her. Layla realized that natural English is not only about grammar, but also about energy, storytelling, and connection. Here's a practice you can try. Take a place in your town and describe it in 2 different styles. Formal. The architectural design of this monument reflects the cultural heritage of the 18th century, symbolizing resilience and artistic innovation. Natural. This old building shows the history of the 18th century. It is a strong and creative design from that time. Which one do you think would make a tourist feel more connected? Most people prefer the second version because it feels alive. Now let's talk about another character, Ibrahim from Jordan. Ibrahim wanted to impress his new manager. He often stayed quiet in meetings because he was afraid of making mistakes. One day, his manager asked for his opinion directly. Ibrahim panicked but remembered something his wife told him. It is better to speak simply than to stay silent. So he said, "I think this plan will help us finish faster." The manager smiled and said, "That's a great point." From that day, Ibrahim started speaking more. His confidence grew because he discovered that even short, natural sentences can make a big impact. This shows us that silence often comes from fear of making mistakes. But natural English, even if simple, is better than silence. Now let's move to a short dialogue example. Manager: What do you think of this new plan? Formal employee: In my professional assessment, the proposed strategy exhibits considerable potential for success, albeit requiring further refinements. Natural employee: I think this plan could work well, but we need to improve a few details. The second answer sounds confident and easy to understand. This is what advanced communication looks like. Let me share another inspiring story. Aisha from Pakistan worked as an entrepreneur. She often pitched her business ideas to investors. In her first presentation, she used very formal language, and people looked serious but not interested. Then she changed her style. She started with a story. When I was a child, my father ran a small shop. I saw how much hard work it takes to build something. That's why I started this business, to help small shops grow with technology. Immediately, the investors paid attention. They connected to her personal story. Later, she received funding. This shows that storytelling in natural English is a powerful skill, especially at an advanced level. Here's an exercise for you. Think of a personal story from your life. Maybe your first job, your favorite teacher, or a challenge you overcame. Write it in 2 ways, one very formal and one very natural. Then compare them. Notice how the natural version feels more personal and confident. Now let's talk about pacing. A man named Jacob from Canada moved to Dubai for work. His English was native level, but his colleagues sometimes found him difficult to follow because he spoke too quickly. When he slowed down, paused after important points, and emphasized key words, people understood him better. Even advanced speakers must remember that speed is not confidence. Confidence comes from control and clarity. Let's practice a listening exercise together. Repeat this in your mind after me, with pauses. I am working on an exciting project. Pause. It will help our team save time. Pause. I believe it will make a big difference. Did you notice how pausing makes the message stronger? Try using this method in your own speaking. Another character for you is Elena from Russia. She married an American man and moved to the United States. At first, she felt shy because she thought people would laugh at her accent. But over time, she discovered that people did not mind her accent at all. What mattered was her confidence. She started speaking naturally, even when her grammar was not perfect. Her husband's family loved her honesty and effort. This proves that accent is not a weakness. Natural communication and confidence matter more. Here's a quick practice. Take this sentence. Despite my pronunciation not being entirely flawless, I shall endeavor to convey my message effectively. Now, make it natural. My pronunciation is not perfect, but I will explain clearly. Which one feels more confident? The second one, because it shows honesty and directness. Let us bring in one final story for this part. A man named Daniel from South Africa worked in a multinational company. His team included people from Japan, India, and the UK. Everyone spoke English differently. Some used formal English, others used casual English. At first, Daniel felt unsure which style to use, but he quickly learned that the best style is flexible English. Sometimes formal, sometimes natural, depending on the situation. By adapting, Daniel became the bridge between different cultures. His confidence came from his ability to switch styles smoothly. This is the highest level of English, knowing not just the grammar and vocabulary, but also knowing when to be formal and when to be natural. Let's do one more story for this segment. Lucas from Spain works as a software developer. He often explains coding issues to his team. Initially, he used formal, technical phrases. The implementation of the function encounters exceptions due to improper parameter initialization. His team struggled. Lucas simplified. The function has errors because the settings are wrong. Let's fix them. The team understood immediately, and productivity improved. Lucas learned that simple English can be highly professional. Let's start with a story about a woman named Elena from Spain. Elena is a graphic designer working for an international company in Amsterdam. She often needs to explain her creative ideas to clients from different countries. At first, she thought that using very formal and long sentences would make her ideas impressive. During a presentation, she said, "The conceptual framework underpinning this design is predicated upon the amalgamation of aesthetic principles and user-centric paradigms." Her clients looked puzzled, and some even asked her to repeat herself. Afterward, a colleague advised, "Elena, focus on clarity. Speak like you are explaining to someone curious, not like a textbook." The next time she said, "This design combines beauty and functionality to make it easy for people to use." Her clients immediately understood and appreciated her ideas. Elena realized that natural English conveys professionalism more effectively than complicated words. This story highlights that advanced English is not about making sentences longer or harder. It is about making your ideas clear and easy to understand. When people follow your message without confusion, your confidence increases naturally. Here's a short role play. Imagine you are Elena presenting a design to a client. Formal version. The visual aesthetics incorporated within this layout aim to optimize user engagement and retention metrics. Natural version. This design looks good and is easy to use. People will enjoy it. The natural version is simpler, more direct, and still professional. Practicing this approach can help you sound confident in real situations. Now, let's meet a man named Jamal from Egypt. Jamal works in the finance sector and often presents reports to senior managers. He used to prepare long, complicated explanations like, "The quarterly financial statements indicate substantial volatility within multiple investment portfolios, necessitating immediate risk mitigation strategies." His managers found it difficult to follow. One day, his wife suggested, "Speak simply. Focus on what matters." Jamal tried it. "Some of our investments are risky. We need to act quickly." The managers understood immediately and thanked him. Jamal discovered that clarity is the key to being understood and respected. Here's a small listening exercise. Repeat in your mind, pausing slightly between ideas. "Our sales increased this month." Pause. "Some products sold better than others." Pause. "Next, we will adjust our strategy." Notice how the pauses and simple sentences make your speech easier to follow and more confident. Let's introduce another story. Maya from India works as a travel consultant in Dubai. She often speaks to tourists who have limited English. Initially, she used advanced vocabulary like, "The itinerary encompasses diverse cultural landmarks and gastronomic experiences intended to maximize visitor engagement." Tourists became confused. Maya decided to speak naturally. This tour includes famous places and local food. You will enjoy it a lot. Tourists smiled and asked more questions. Maya realized that natural English allows people to connect with her message more easily. Now let's do a role play. Imagine a tourist asks Maya, "What will we see on the tour?" Formal version? The excursion will entail visits to historically significant monuments and venues renowned for local culinary traditions. Natural version. You will see famous historical sites and taste local food. It will be fun. The natural version feels warmer, easier to understand, and creates a connection with the listener. Another story. Omar from Jordan is an engineer. He often needs to explain complex technical systems to colleagues who are not engineers. Initially, he said, the integration of subsystems necessitates precise calibration to ensure optimal operational efficacy. His team struggled to understand. Omar changed his approach. All parts must be set correctly so the system works well. His team quickly understood and implemented the system. Omar learned that advanced English is about understanding your audience, not impressing them with vocabulary. Practice time. Convert this formal sentence into natural English. Formal. It is incumbent upon all personnel to comply with safety protocols to mitigate potential hazards. Natural. Everyone must follow safety rules to prevent problems. The natural version is clear, direct, and professional. Now, a story from Carlos in Mexico. Carlos is a university professor teaching international students. At first, he overused formal English in his lectures, like, the pedagogical methodologies employed in this curriculum are designed to facilitate cognitive skill acquisition. Students seemed confused. Carlos decided to simplify. These teaching methods help you learn better. Students understood quickly and became more engaged. He realized that natural English is more effective than overly formal explanations. Here's another dialogue practice. Imagine a student asks, "Why do we need to follow this method?" Formal. Adherence to this methodology is essential for ensuring comprehensive comprehension of the subject matter. Natural. Following this method will help you understand the topic better. The natural version is easier to remember and sounds confident. Now, let's explore another story. Fatima from Lebanon works in a law firm. She often prepares case presentations for clients. Initially, she used long, complex sentences. The statutory provisions delineated within this case necessitate meticulous scrutiny to ascertain compliance. Clients often looked puzzled. Fatima changed her approach. We need to check the law carefully to make sure everything is correct. Clients understood immediately and appreciated her clarity. This shows that natural English increases confidence because listeners can follow you easily. Here's a listening and speaking exercise. Repeat slowly with pauses. I reviewed the case documents. Pause. Everything looks correct. Pause. I will explain the details to the client. Notice how pausing makes your speech more natural and easier to follow. Another story. Ali from Saudi Arabia works in marketing. He often gives online presentations to international clients. He used to read word for word from slides, which sounded robotic. Later, he spoke naturally, focusing on key points. Our new campaign is successful. We reached more people this month. Next, we plan to improve engagement. Clients responded positively. Ali realized natural speech engages the audience and conveys confidence better than memorized scripts. Here's a role-play exercise. Imagine your client asks, "How are our sales campaigns performing?" Formal. The marketing initiatives have yielded measurable outcomes, indicating significant consumer engagement enhancement. Natural. Our campaigns are doing well. More people are interested and engagement is increasing. The natural version is easy to understand, professional, and engaging. Now let's talk about Sarah from Turkey. She works as a nutritionist. She often explains diet plans to clients. Initially, she used formal sentences. It is imperative that caloric intake be meticulously monitored to achieve optimal physiological outcomes. Her clients looked overwhelmed. Sarah simplified. You need to watch your calories to stay healthy. Clients appreciated her clarity and followed instructions easily. Practice converting formal to natural sentences. Formal. The efficacy of this protocol is contingent upon consistent adherence by all participants. Natural. This plan works if everyone follows it regularly. Notice how the natural version is easier to listen to and remember. Another story? Daniel from Canada moved to Italy for work. He needed to explain technical reports to Italian colleagues. At first, he used formal sentences. The computational model necessitates iterative optimization to ensure maximal performance. Colleagues struggled to follow. Daniel simplified. We need to improve the system step by step so it works better. Everyone understood immediately, and collaboration improved. Here is a listening exercise. Repeat slowly with pauses. We are testing the system. Pause. Some parts need adjustment. Pause. Next, we will check the improvements. Pausing and using simple sentences helps your speech sound professional and natural. Another story. A woman named Layla from Morocco works in education. She often presents lessons to students from different countries. She initially used formal phrases. The curricular objectives are designed to facilitate holistic cognitive development. Students seemed confused. Layla changed her approach. These lessons help you learn in many ways. Students understood and participated actively. Layla realized that natural English makes learning easier and more enjoyable. Let's do a role play. Imagine you are Layla, explaining a lesson. Formal. The instructional material has been meticulously crafted to maximize pedagogical effectiveness. Natural. The lesson is designed to help you learn better. The natural version is clear, friendly, and confident. Let's begin with a story about a man named Rashid from Pakistan. Rashid works as a software engineer in Berlin. He often has to explain technical solutions to clients who do not have an IT background. Initially, he would say, the integration of distributed network protocols facilitates enhanced data throughput and minimizes latency. Clients often nodded politely, but clearly didn't understand. Rashid's wife suggested, explain it like you are talking to a friend, not a computer. The next day, he said, our system sends data faster and avoids delays. Clients smiled, asked questions, and seemed genuinely interested. Rashid realized that advanced English is about connecting ideas with clarity, not complexity. This example shows that natural English is more effective than overly formal language. When people understand you easily, your confidence grows naturally. Now, a short role play. Imagine a client asks Rashid, how will the system improve our workflow? Formal. The implementation of the upgraded protocols will yield substantial optimization of operational efficiency. Natural. The system will help your team work faster and more smoothly. The second version is simple, confident, and persuasive. Practicing such examples trains your mind to speak clearly under pressure. Let's meet another character, Layla from Lebanon. She works as a financial analyst in a multinational firm. She often presents reports to managers. At first, she would say, the fiscal projections indicate substantial deviations from anticipated revenue streams, necessitating immediate corrective strategies. Her managers often looked puzzled. Layla decided to simplify. Our revenue is different from what we expected. We need to make changes quickly. Her managers understood her immediately and appreciated her clarity. Here we learn that being understood is more important than sounding fancy. Even advanced English speakers benefit from simple, natural sentences. Now, an exercise for you? Convert this formal sentence to natural. English formal. The operational framework requires systematic evaluation to ensure adherence to procedural standards. Natural. We need to check all steps to make sure everything is done correctly. Notice how the natural version communicates the same idea, but is easier to listen to and remember. Another story. Marco from Italy works as a chef in Dubai. He trains kitchen staff from different countries. Initially, he gave instructions like, ensure that all culinary procedures are executed in accordance with standardized gastronomic protocols. Staff often seemed confused. Marco's wife suggested, speak in simple steps. People learn faster that way. Marco started saying, follow the recipe step by step. Make sure everything is clean. The staff understood immediately and mistakes decreased. Marco learned that simplicity improves communication and builds respect. Here is a listening and speaking exercise. Repeat slowly with pauses. I prepared the menu for today. Pause. Each dish is fresh and healthy. Pause. Everyone will enjoy it. Notice how pausing improves understanding and makes your speech sound natural and confident. Now, let's move to another character, Sophia from Brazil. She works as a marketing consultant. She often presents strategies to international clients. Initially, she would say, "The marketing initiatives are designed to optimize consumer engagement metrics and drive revenue growth." Clients often seemed confused. Sophia tried a natural approach. "Our marketing plan helps attract more customers and increase sales." Clients immediately understood and showed interest. Sophia realized that clear, natural English makes communication more effective. Let's practice a role play. Imagine a client asks Sophia, "How will this marketing strategy help our business?" Formal. The proposed campaign is intended to enhance consumer outreach and maximize profitability through strategic engagement initiatives. Natural. This campaign will reach more people and help your business grow. The natural version is easier to follow, sounds confident, and is professional. Another story, Ahmed from Egypt works as a teacher. He often explains grammar to students who are learning English. Initially, he used formal sentences like, "The syntactic arrangement necessitates congruence between subject and predicate components." Students were confused. Ahmed simplified, "The subject and verb must match." Students understood quickly, and his lessons became more engaging. This demonstrates that advanced English is about adapting your language to the listener. Practice converting formal to natural sentences. Formal. It is imperative that all students comply with the established guidelines to ensure optimal learning outcomes. Natural. Everyone must follow the rules to learn better. The natural version is clear, easy to understand, and professional. Now, another story. Nadia from Morocco works as an event planner. She organizes conferences for international clients. At first, she used formal phrases. The logistical arrangements have been meticulously orchestrated to facilitate seamless attendee experience. Clients often looked overwhelmed. Nadia simplified. "We arranged everything so the event runs smoothly." Clients appreciated her clarity and confidence. Here's a listening exercise. Repeat slowly, pausing between ideas. "We prepared everything for the conference." Pause. "The schedule is ready." Pause. "Attendees will have a great experience." Pausing and using simple sentences makes your speech clear, natural, and confident. Another character, Karim from Tunisia, works in IT support. He explains technical problems to non-technical clients. Initially, he said, "The system encountered an unexpected exception due to improper parameter configuration." Clients struggled to understand. Karim simplified, "The system has a problem because some settings are wrong. We will fix it." Clients understood immediately, and Karim felt more confident. Role play exercise. Imagine a client asks, "Why is the software not working?" Formal. The anomaly has arisen due to misconfigured system parameters and requires immediate remediation. Natural. The software isn't working because some settings are wrong. We will fix it. The natural version is clear, professional, and easy to follow. Another story. Layla from Turkey works in education. She often explains science concepts to international students. Initially, she used formal language. The photosynthetic process encompasses multiple biochemical reactions facilitating energy conversion. Students seemed confused. Layla simplified. Plants make energy from sunlight. This process is called photosynthesis. Students understood immediately and became more engaged. Natural English helps learners connect with ideas better. Practice time. Take this formal sentence and make it natural. Formal. It is crucial to adhere to the prescribed methodology to achieve intended scientific outcomes. Natural. Follow the steps carefully to get the right results. The natural version is easier to remember and sounds confident. Another story. Omar from Jordan works in logistics. He often explains delivery processes to clients. Initially, he used formal sentences. The transportation schedule is contingent upon logistical coordination with multiple stakeholders to ensure timely fulfillment. Clients were confused. Omar simplified. We coordinate deliveries with everyone to make sure packages arrive on time. Clients appreciated the clarity, and Omar felt confident. Now let's do a role play. Imagine a client asks Omar, "Will our shipments arrive on time?" Formal. The delivery timeline is subject to meticulous coordination across all channels to guarantee punctuality. Natural. We work with everyone to make sure your shipments arrive on time. The Natural version is easy to follow and shows confidence. Another story. Yasmin from Pakistan works in health education. She explains fitness plans to clients. Initially, she said, optimal physical conditioning necessitates adherence to a multifaceted regimen encompassing cardiovascular and resistance training components. Clients were overwhelmed. Yasmin simplified, to stay fit, you should exercise and do some strength training. Clients understood immediately and followed the plan. Practice speaking. Repeat slowly. Exercise regularly. Pause. Include strength training. Pause. This helps you stay healthy. Pausing and simplifying makes your speech clear and professional. Another character, Daniel from South Africa, works as a project coordinator. He explains complex schedules to international team members. Initially, he used formal sentences. The project deliverables require adherence to strict timelines to ensure synchronized operational execution. Team members were confused. Daniel simplified, we need to follow the schedule so everyone is on time. Team members understood immediately, and collaboration improved. Here is a listening exercise. Repeat slowly with pauses. We have a project schedule. Pause. Everyone must follow it. Pause. This will help the team work better together. Simple. Natural sentences combined with pauses create confident, clear speech. Another story. Maria from Brazil works in customer service. She often helps clients with product questions. Initially, she used formal sentences. The functionality of this device is contingent upon accurate user operation and adherence to the prescribed maintenance procedures. Clients seemed confused. Maria simplified. The device works well if you use it correctly and take care of it. Clients appreciated her explanation. Role-play exercise. A client asks, how do I use this product? Formal. Proper utilization of the device necessitates adherence to operational protocols delineated in the user manual. Natural. Use the product as the manual says, and it will work well. The natural version is simple, confident, and professional. Another character, Ahmed from Morocco, works as a consultant. He often advises businesses on efficiency. Initially, he said, the operational paradigm requires iterative analysis to identify potential optimization vectors. Clients were puzzled. Ahmed simplified. We check the workflow and find ways to improve it. Clients immediately understood, and Ahmed gained confidence. Here's a listening practice. Repeat slowly. We analyze the workflow. Pause. We find ways to improve it. Pause. This makes the business work better. Clear. Simple sentences make you sound confident and professional. Another story. Aisha from Pakistan works in retail management. She explains store procedures to staff. Initially, she said, all personnel must execute the operational protocols with precision to maximize customer satisfaction. Staff often seemed nervous. Aisha simplified. Follow the steps carefully. This helps customers have a good experience. Staff understood and worked better. Practice role play. A staff member asks, what should I do at the store? Formal. It is imperative to execute all operational procedures meticulously to ensure client satisfaction. Natural. Follow the steps carefully. This will make customers happy. The natural version is easier to understand, professional, and confident. Another story. Lucas from Spain works as a software trainer. He teaches people with different levels of English. Initially, he used formal sentences. The software module necessitates systematic comprehension to facilitate operational proficiency. Students were confused. Lucas simplified, learn how this software works step by step. Students understood quickly. Natural English creates clarity and engagement, even for advanced learners. Here's a listening exercise. Repeat slowly with pauses. Learn the software step by step. Pause. Ask questions if needed. Pause. You will understand it better. Pausing and simplifying helps your speech sound confident, clear, and natural. Another character, Omar from Jordan, works as a project manager. He explains schedules and deadlines. Initially, he said, the project timeline must be adhered to rigorously to maintain optimal workflow synchronization. His team was confused. Omar simplified, follow the schedule. This keeps the work on track. His team appreciated the clarity. Role play. A team member asks, "Do we need to follow the schedule?" Formal. Strict adherence to the project timeline is necessary to ensure operational alignment. Natural. Yes. Follow the schedule to keep everything on track. The natural version is clear, professional, and confident. Another story, Fatima from Egypt works in education. She explains English grammar. Initially, she said, the morphological configuration necessitates agreement between the verb and the subject in accordance with standard grammatical protocols. Students were confused. She simplified. The verb must match the subject. Students understood immediately. This shows natural English works even for complex topics. Practice. Take this formal sentence and make it natural. Formal. Proper adherence to these grammatical conventions is crucial for accurate language utilization. Natural. Follow these grammar rules to speak correctly. Clear. Simple sentences help learners understand and sound confident. Another story. Daniel from South Africa works in HR. He explains policies to employees. Initially, he said, compliance with organizational protocols is mandatory to ensure operational efficacy. Employees seemed confused. Daniel simplified, follow the company rules. This helps everyone work better. Employees understood immediately. Listening exercise. Repeat slowly. Follow the rules. Pause. This helps everyone. Pause. Work becomes easier for all. Simple sentences, natural tone, and pauses make your speech clear and professional. Another character, Maria from Brazil, works in logistics. She explains delivery processes. Initially, she said, the transportation schedule necessitates coordination with multiple stakeholders to guarantee timely fulfillment. Clients were confused. Maria simplified, we work with everyone to make sure deliveries arrive on time. Clients understood immediately. Role play. A client asks, will our shipments be on time? Formal. Timely delivery is contingent upon synchronized coordination among all operational units. Natural. We work with everyone so your shipments arrive on time. The natural version is simple, confident, and professional. Another story. Ahmed from Egypt works in IT support. He explains software issues. Initially, he said, the system anomaly arises from improper parameter configurations necessitating immediate remediation. Clients were confused. Ahmed simplified, the system has a problem. Some settings are wrong. We will fix it. Clients understood immediately. Listening exercise. Repeat slowly. The system has a problem. Pause. Some settings are wrong. Pause. We will fix it. Pausing and using natural English makes your speech clear, professional, and confident. Another character, Layla from Morocco, works in education. She explains science topics. Initially, she said, the photosynthetic process encompasses multiple biochemical reactions facilitating energy conversion. Students were confused. Layla simplified, plants use sunlight to make energy. This is photosynthesis. Students understood immediately. Practice. Take a formal sentence and make it natural. Formal. The experimental protocol necessitates rigorous adherence to procedural standards to ensure reproducibility. Natural. Follow the experiment steps carefully to get the same results every time. Clear. Simple sentences create understanding and confidence. Another story. Omar from Jordan manages projects. Initially, he said, the project deliverables require strict compliance with timelines to maintain operational efficiency. His team was confused. Omar simplified, follow the schedule to keep the work on track. His team appreciated clarity. Role play. A colleague asks, should we follow the project schedule? Formal. Adherence to the established timeline is essential to maintain workflow efficiency. Natural. Yes. Follow the schedule to stay on track. The natural version is clear, professional, and confident. Another story. Fatima from Egypt explains grammar to students. Initially, she said, the syntactic alignment requires subject-verb agreement to maintain grammatical correctness. Students were confused. She simplified, the subject and verb must match. Students understood immediately. Natural English works for complex topics. Practice. Convert this formal sentence to natural. Formal. Compliance with these grammatical rules is paramount for accurate language usage. Natural. Follow these grammar rules to speak correctly. Clear. Simple sentences improve understanding and confidence. Another story. Daniel from South Africa works in HR. Initially, he said, compliance with organizational policies is mandatory to maintain operational efficiency. Employees were confused. Daniel simplified, follow company rules. This helps everyone work better. Employees understood immediately. Listening exercise. Repeat slowly. Follow the rules. Pause. This helps everyone. Pause. Work becomes easier for all. Simple sentences, natural tone, and pauses make your speech clear and professional. Another character, Maria from Brazil, works in logistics. She explains delivery processes. Initially, she said, the transportation schedule necessitates coordination with multiple stakeholders to guarantee timely fulfillment. Clients were confused. Maria simplified, we work with everyone to make sure deliveries arrive on time. Clients understood immediately. Role play. A client asks, will our shipments arrive on time? Formal. Timely delivery is contingent upon synchronized coordination among all operational units. Natural. We work with everyone so your shipments arrive on time. The natural version is easy to follow, professional and confident. Another story, Ahmed from Egypt works in IT support. Initially, he said, the system anomaly arises from improper parameter configurations necessitating immediate remediation. Clients were confused. Ahmed simplified, the system has a problem. Some settings are wrong. We will fix it. Clients understood immediately. This continues to show that natural English builds confidence, connection, and clarity. Using clear sentences, pauses, and relatable stories makes your advanced English much more effective.